Yeah, Tiffany and her friend Sherry were the ones that knew about the insurance policy, and they made up this story that Tiffany's grandmother was trying to steal it, so we needed to get on it. So I got a lawyer, got the EIN numbers, got everything set up, and just before everything, you know, was going to go through, because there's time limits and whatnot, Tiffany got her own lawyer and started having an attitude towards me, even though she played nice all the way up until like midway. Then, after court goes through, she gets everything she wants. She got all of it. I start getting hit by the IRS because my name's on the EIN numbers. And I'm like, look, I didn't receive anything. She did. And they wouldn't listen to me. So I see what she did there. And that had to be a lawyer that told her to do that because she's not that intelligent. No, she doesn't know how all that stuff works. And if she does, wow, she was hiding a lot from me, which is possible. But yeah, it's another thing she tried to do. That way she would get that money and I would be legally responsible for it, even though it didn't come to me. They had me barred from the GoFundMe, so I couldn't see what was going on there. They started fights deliberately on every social media platform. I mean, really? A whole bunch of drug addicts in our county made a lot of money off of our children passing. Every one of them put up a fundraiser and made their money. Imagine that. Yeah, there was one in Meadow Park. There was one at Walt's Tavern. There was a couple of false GoFundMe's from her cousin Amy and her other drug addict friend's mom that she calls her aunt, even though they're not related. Yeah, this is a girl that used to walk through the neighborhood as a streetwalker, and all of a sudden this chick knows me, my fiance, or my ex fiance, and her whole life story when she was never around. Yeah, Tiff never even interacted with her until about 2014 or 15. And I always kept my kids and myself away from her and those people. So she doesn't know anything about my family other than whatever Tiff has said. That's what I'm talking about. All they got to do is step back and look at everything. And the fact that she diverted police away from the situation at hand involving her mother, which was at fault, and her son, with a story from the past that wasn't even true. Even the cop has the report in his hand. He was yelling at me on the phone over it. And I said, one, why are you distracted by a report of something that was old, whether it happened or not? What does that have to do with this accident? I have nothing to do with it. Why is she diverting you away from an investigation with something that has nothing to do with it? I said, for two, it is in that report that it was a lie. Read it. And he was arguing with me, and he started reading it. He said, okay, okay. And he started reading the rest of it. And it said right at the bottom, inconclusive, did not happen. And it even stated that they felt the mother was going after the father, and the father did not know. Said it right at the bottom. And he said, oh. I said, yeah. What do you got to say now? So you got all mad at me, wouldn't listen to me sending you over there, telling you all this stuff, and the fact that you already knew that it was intentional. Now all of a sudden, your whole brain's off the whole situation because of that. Right. Brian Shockey. Yeah. And he's also friends with my stepdad, which My stepdad's grandson, Brian, threatened our kids and was messing with my fiance and also lived on this property after he got out of jail for being a heroin addict and a thief, which his grandfather protected him on. Yeah, he drove around every day, drunk as a skunk, every day. Started nothing but problems here, started nothing but problems with them, cost them all kinds of money. Still a golden boy. Oh, he did nothing wrong. Huh. Yeah, he had a hand in this too. Not as much as they did, but he had a hand in it too. He was the one talking to her mother behind our backs when we were here. He even told me to. He gives me hints. Yeah, he's a sociopath. That's what they do. They think it's funny. And that's another thing that Jen borders on is sociopath. Yeah, she thinks this stuff is funny. Bethany, she would giggle at this kind of stuff too. So I don't know if she's considered a sociopath or not. But also, these people with these disabilities target people with a good heart and people that they can manipulate. That's what they do. I have ADHD, severe anxiety, and I have trauma from when I was a kid, PTSD. And it's towards all these things that these people are doing. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that was done to me when I was a kid. And they're flipping it and using it because they know my past. Brian does because he's technically my nephew. I've known him since he was 4 and 5 years old. He's been an ornery little shit his whole life. He used to steal medication from his mom. Yeah, he's a bad one, and it's just amazing what these people get away with. Even though their actions show totally different, they say one thing to one person in the family, and they believe every word, just because favoritism or whatever you want to call it. Now, I don't want to hear people shit. I'm watching it. I know damn well what it is. I'm 40 years old. I know when somebody's playing favoritism and choosing to believe something when they have no facts behind it just because it's another person saying it. Yeah, I'm an adult. That's a kiddie game. And yeah, that's a head game. That's also what commonly happens between siblings. And that's how they turn things into a childlike fight so they can act like they are the one that is more mature and adult about it, even though they're the ones that set up the whole thing, and that's why it looks that way. All I'm doing is mentioning what they did and saying what the hell's going on here. But because I'm mentioning it, oh well, you're fighting like a kid. No, I'm telling you what they did. I didn't bite into their bullshit. Yeah, these people are this sick. Yes, they are. All they care about is money for drugs. That's it. It's all right. It doesn't matter if people out there know the real story, believe the real story. God knows, and they're not going to be able to lie to Him. So I don't care what people think to a certain extent. But I promised my kids that whoever was at fault and whatever was going on, I was going to make known. And that's what I did. So even though the courts want to be jackasses, the culprits are still known. Whether people want to believe it or not, that's up to them. But I'll be damned if I'm going to sit here and be called all these names and be looked at this way and that way when I didn't do none of that shit. I was very sweet and very nice and very, very attentive with my kids. I know I'm a redneck. I know I curse a little bit now and all that, but I was not like that around them. Their mothers were. I wasn't. So, these children went through hell. They knew they were going to be hurt. They told everybody. Everybody said it was hearsay because they believed the manipulation of these women. And then exactly what those kids said took place before and after this incident. Not only that, the incident was caught on video. If the cops would release it, which they won't do that because it shows them lying. Other people, oh, well, it's probably got a lot of horrific things. I've seen it. You can't see anything horrific until the paramedics show up. And I even stopped it at that point. I didn't watch it past that point. Maybe I should to make sure they didn't do anything wrong, but I didn't. I watched the traffic pattern and how it ended up like it was. And that was it. That's all I needed to see. That's all anybody else was ever going to see if I ever got the video too. That was it. I don't know what people think I was going to do. Play the whole video so you can see all the bad stuff too? No, I don't want to see that either. I already had to see my kids laid out on a table and check them for wounds to make sure people don't lie to me. And the wounds on their body is not consistent with what the police report says, which means they were attacked before anything happened. The car is not mangled enough to entrap anybody. So that's a lie too. Even David's doctor, the one that put his feet back together, me and him were on the same page. His mother got nervous and stopped taking David to that doctor. His mother almost caused him to lose his feet. His dad was the one that came in and saved it, even though me and his mother and his Nana and David were not getting along. I still did my job as a father. But of course, I'm a male. I'm just a lazy, stinky, grunt pig mofo that just lies through his teeth. Yeah, no. That is an F-boy, not a man. I'm a man. And I don't need any of y'all's validation for that at all. None. I know what the hell I am.